Hi everyone, welcome back to the makeup chair. For today's Monday makeup lesson, I am talking about concealers. Concealers are absolutely amazing when they're used correctly, but if they're used incorrectly, they're actually completely pointless. So here's a few concealer mistakes that we all make and how to fix it. The first mistake that I know a lot of people, including myself, have done is not paid attention to the shade that we are using. We pay a huge attention to the shade that we're using in our foundation, but we don't tend to think too much about the concealer shade. So if it's under eye circles, the worst thing you can do is use a very light shade under there without correcting first, because then all you do is end up with this grey kind of mask underneath your eyes. Using something a little bit warmer underneath the eyes, and that will just counteract any of that kind of discoloration under there. If you want to, you can apply your lighter shade over the top, but you need to correct that area first. Now for blemishes, you can actually go a little bit darker, just very slightly, just to really make sure that it disappears. If you go lighter, it actually just makes it pinpointed on the face and highlights it a little bit more. So it's better to go exactly the same shade as your foundation, or even a touch darker if you want to cover up something. Just never go lighter with blemishes. It doesn't work. The next mistake that I see a lot of people making is not setting your makeup with a powder. It's actually more important to set your concealer than it is to set your entire face. If you don't set your concealer, it can end up smudging, creasing, and just moving around. Even if you have the little creases starting to appear, just use your fingertips, a little bit of a sponge or a brush, and just get rid of those creases, and then go in straight away and set it with a little bit of powder. It's the same for blemishes. Once you've applied that concealer, make sure you just dab over a little bit of powder just to hold it and set it in place. The next mistake is not multitasking our concealers. Concealers aren't just there to cover up the odd blemish or under eye circle. It can also be used for sharpening up the brows, using as a base for your eyeshadow if you want to prep your eyelids. It can also be used for around the lips just to give it a nice sharp finish after you've applied your lipstick, and it can be used in so many different ways, not just covering up something. It can also be used for sharpening and making everything look perfect. One of my favorite ones for this is the Wonder Pencil by NYX, because it can be used for scars, broken capillaries around the lip line, the waterline, the brows. It just has so many uses, so I always keep this handy in my makeup bag. The next mistake that we make is not using the right tools. Your fingertips are fine, but using the right brush will just make your job a whole lot easier. This is the E27 by canvascosmetics. It's a pointed brush, so you can get right onto the blemishes. It's very tiny, so that you can blend around the edges and just get a perfectly pinpointed area rather than applying the concealer all over your face, which you don't probably need. You just need to cover it up in one area. Then for underneath the eyes, one of my favorite ones is the E26. It's a great blending brush. You basically apply a little bit of the product with your fingertips, or you can use a little sponge tip, and then just blend and buff away any of that concealer, and it'll just give you this beautiful airbrush finish. So those are two of my favorite brushes. And the final mistake is whether we apply it before or after our foundation. And this actually depends on the routine that you want to go for. If I'm going for a really full coverage, flawless finish, I'll start off with my moisturizer, apply my primer, apply my corrector, which is similar to a concealer except it's a slightly different tone. It comes in blues, greens, purples, all those kind of things. Then I apply my foundation over the top of that, and then I finish off with my concealer. However, if you want to go for something a little lighter and you're just going day to day, I find a touch of your moisturizer, a little bit of concealer on the areas that you need it, and then just blend the tiniest amount of a BB cream or your foundation over the top. Just try not to go over the areas where you've applied concealer too much so you don't end up disturbing it, and that way you just get a much lighter, kind of more natural finish. So I hope that helped you out. If you have any more questions about concealer, then don't hesitate to ask me. And if you have any ways that you like to use concealer in the best way that works for your skin type, then just leave a comment, because I love hearing what you guys like to do. And I will see you guys in a video really soon. Bye guys.